And away we go. Welcome, guys. I wanted to talk to you about the clutter and the time and the shit that, parental advisory, this is a potty mouth podcast. The shit that goes on in our lives, no matter what situation we're in, whether we're a 9-to-5er, an entrepreneur, or somebody fucking just really busted ass out there trying to create a new business or new businesses, this time thing and this shrapnel is what I guess I want to call it. How much of this stuff is hanging on us and really ruining our lives? I mean, if we do not start living our life like a business, organizing it like a business, it's completely screwed. That's kind of what I'm experiencing today. And the preacher of the simple life, yeah, all's not so good here. It's fantastic, but things, they slip very, very fast. And I'm wondering if there's a way that we could rearrange this, and that's what the show is about today. Welcome to another edition of Up and In It. I'm your host, Adrian Babishoff, and if you're new here, welcome as well. And if you're wondering what the show is about, it's entirely dedicated to creating an alternative lifestyle design that improves quality of life for both people and for planet, exploring alternatives to the daily grind through liberation and independence, moving you from surviving to thriving and living life raw. So yeah, what's going on, guys? I'll tell you what's going on. I've got Violet's Buyers Club. I got a whole entire website I gotta build. I've got the Violet's Gardens going, our spin farm operations. I got my roofing, which by the way I'm going to right now. I'm gonna go put a roof on, and that's where you guys are hearing me broadcast live from my mobile studio. 1996 7.3 liter F350, towing a trailer, my truck and trailer. I haven't done that in a while. Yeah, so I got to be vigilant a little bit while I'm towing this thing and podcasting at the same time and trying to save the world and prove that it's not a shitty place. So this is insane, guys. Yeah, one thing I've noticed is I get home and I just start setting stuff down, right? Like change. I've got this little loft over my bed where I sleep. I live in a tiny home, by the way. It's a 29-footer travel trailer. And it's me and my 2 daughters. And yeah, I get home and I'll usually put plastic bags down. Say right now I've got rice and beans that were given to me in a corner someplace. I've got my spare change I just put on a shelf. It ends up spilling everywhere. I got receipts and everything I keep because I'm trying to stay up with my, with the IRS, and also to monitor my spending habits and for various other reasons. So I got receipts everywhere. I've got paperwork everywhere. It just turns into a clutter, and you keep saying that, well, I'll just take care of it tomorrow. And guess what? It never really happens that way. Very rarely, if it does. And then we end up with this mess and we wonder why we're so frustrated. So I'd like to speak on my experience here, and I'm sure a lot of you can identify with this too. Is it'll ruin your day, man. You're trying to find your keys or something because they got buried, as I said, in the receipts and spare change and all of these, the clutter in your life. And it could, I think sometimes some people say, I think it's mostly women, that the first tone of the day is what sets it off, whether you have a good day or bad day. I kind of follow this thing. I'm trying to get in touch with my feminine fucking self. I'm already using a pink towel. Does that say anything? Does that count as any feminine points? But no, seriously, jokes aside. All jokes, guys. Most of it. So what I'll do is I'll set up some some incense stuff, like some scented oils in the morning. Sometimes like some eucalyptus or some lavender at nighttime in a oil burner. And one of those little humidifiers, the little tiny ones, got some pretty lights. And I'll put on some music sometimes, like some Mozart or some soft Beethoven and things like that, to just kind of, when my kids wake up, they got kind of, light a candle when it's cold. I'd have to say a candle does something for sure, even in a man's life. It just seems kind of cool, especially when the lights are all out. It casts shadows, so it sets the mood. So what kind of mood are we setting in our homes when we're completely disorganized, I think we're all not affected by this, tone of the day, but I think a lot of us are. So I think it's really simple. I used to work, I used to have 5 acres I was renting, and I was doing a whole bunch of permaculture, natural farming techniques, and I'd have shovels and pliers and all kinds of tools, and I'd have to walk way up the hill to go get stuff. So what I'd start to do, especially on my mini retirements, is I would leave the tools there and say, I'll just get to it tomorrow. But I forget that it's there and end up doing something else. Then I can't find my pliers, my shovel, my rake, and so forth and so forth. So I got in a habit of running my life like a business, and it's a pain in the ass, especially on 5 acres, to walk all the way back up the hill and put everything back to where it belongs. in my business, my roofing business in particular, I've got a trailer, and it's got all my tools in it, right? Tools and materials, and I call it my ambulance. I've got all kinds of things to duct tape a roof up or band-aid it up, sealants and different size screws, nails, and all kinds of different stuff. But what happens is, same thing like my home, is everything gets cluttered. And when it comes time for money, I look at, I'm losing money because I'm trying to find some shit, or if I can't find it, then I got to stop everything and go buy it. And I think that when I use this analogy of running our lives like a business, can you imagine, I think I said this before on a podcast, but it bears repeating, is imagine if you shut a business down for a day or 2 days and just went through inventory, and you kind of mopped and cleaned everything up, got rid of loose ends, and if you have a group, everybody can kind of put in some suggestions, especially this day and age with apps and stuff. Like, here's some stuff that's wasting time. Maybe we could just get this app and we could all message each other, or instead of me carrying a piece of paper to the 4th story, we can just use this app and have everything compounded and put right inside the owner's email, or things of that nature. And I think that that's kind of what this show is about. A big part of it, not all of it, is about how to get that stuff organized, how to get your life like a lifestyle design, how to get it organized so you can do more shit. So the frustrations, I think, is when you're like me, when you're tired, when you're doing 12, 14-hour days, and then you can't find stuff. It'll set you off. You're like, fuck it, I'm not doing anything now, I quit. I don't know if any of you guys can relate. You're just like, I'm done, I'll sit here and do nothing. I think getting a routine, like for me, I have every Wednesdays, which I try to do. To give you guys some perspective, I have Wednesdays and Saturdays I can't work. I got to watch my little child. I have nobody to take care of her, so that's my days off. Well, on my days off, that's where I have a checklist of like, well, let's desanitize, or let's sanitize the toilet, let's sweep the floors, vacuum. I've got all fix the drinking water, like wash it. I have a filtration system, so we'll kind of flush the filtration system out, clean it, sterilize it, things of that nature. Get my lunches. I'd like to add for my work is in the back of my truck, I've got a solar fridge freezer, and I make my smoothies, which I did yesterday, and my raw vegetable juices, and I'll make these like 3 days in advance. It's kind of the longest you want to let these things go, but I intermittent fast to save money and time and having to cook something. But it really helps to meal prep and meal plan, especially for my lunches at work. All I have to do is reach in there and grab a jar of juice. If I get hungrier later during the day, I just open up a plant-based protein mix, chocolate smoothie with bananas and stuff in it, and that usually holds me off till dinner. So it's very convenient. I don't have to think. Everything's set. I just get in my truck in the morning, I go. I got my backpack. I just bought one of these Swiss ones for my computer. And guess what? My computer's not even in it. But this morning my daughter woke up with a hangnail on her toenail, and I've got such things as tweezers. I got toenail clippers. I've got a utility, what do they call it? Utility knife or multi-tools, little plier thingies in there. It's got all kinds of different stuff. A can opener, a wine bottle opener, although I rarely drink wine. But in an emergency, I got a lighter in there. I also have all my business stuff, my pens and papers and everything, envelopes, stamps. So I've got a little bit of everything. It's like a survival backpack, and I just grab that thing, grab and go in the morning, and everything's set. And that's what I think that we're looking to get to here. We want to get to that point where you can just grab and go, and you can pretty much kind of automate your life. By me, I'll tell you, this week we've got, I actually forget what do we got. We have bean and cheese with fresh tomatoes, cilantro and onion, tostadas. We've got, what did we have for dinner? Oh, we have breakfast for dinner coming up. I pre-made in my thermal cookware a bunch of baby, I think they're called baby butters or something. These potatoes from Costco, the organic ones. Really good, man. Really, baby creamers, I think that's what they're called. So we got the potatoes and eggs from the Spin Farm we're on, fresh organic eggs. I think I'll do a video to show you guys the difference between an organic egg from a grocery store and a completely beyond organic from the farm that we got. I'll bet you guys the yolk's gonna be like way more orange or way more colorful, and then we'll do a taste test. Guys, stay tuned. That'll probably be on the Up and In It on Instagram or TikTok. So yeah, when I get home, I've already got dinner planned. I think one of the new things that's got away from me is my food. I basically had avocados that I just barely saved. Like, I'd say a third of them went bad. I had to cut all the bad parts out, but I made guacamole yesterday. But I hate throwing food away. It's one of my pet peeves. I hate wasting anything because I work so damn hard for my money, and I'm sure you do too. So one of the things that I've looked to actually organize is to actually have all the foods that I have on a list, so that I can look when I do want a meal plan or I want to make a quick snack. I have such things as, like, this week I bought panini bread, which is really good, and I forgot that I had half a piece just sitting in the fridge. So if I look at my list on my phone, I know that I have like 3 pieces of frozen ham in the freezer. I got this panini bread sitting in the refrigerator. I also have some tomatoes that are going to go bad. You can kind of look at your list of things, because I think when you just meal plan, you always have these little stragglers. So it's getting those stragglers in tow here and organized, so that you can just look at it and go, oh, okay, shit, yeah, I can make a sandwich for me, and then I can make one taco for the kid. You get basically handling your leftovers. So another tip I'd like to give you guys too with the fresh juice is that when you're dealing with kids like me, they always don't drink the juice, and they'll let it sit. So in fact, today I poured some fresh juice, because the one I made for my kids is probably about 3 days old, so it starts to get a little punky after that. So I kind of doctored it up with some extra fresh juice in there. But the point is to always keep that in a certain area, that in case your kids don't drink it, you can just down it yourself. It's not going to kill you. I'm going to drink probably 2 vegetable juices today for lunch. You get hungry, guess what? Drink another juice. It's healthy for you. It's like compounding like 10 times the salad you'd have to eat or want to eat into a small little jar, a quart-sized jar. So first, yeah, really good for your health. And that's the other thing I noticed with trying to eat healthy, I think, in the hustle, is that I've got salad rotting again. And it's only maybe a half a little bowl, but the point is the salad's going bad. So what I've done when you're in the hustle, when you've got all these things going on, the best thing to do is to juice and to do these hacks. That's one of the things I think I can give you guys today, is in order to stay healthy, you can go to things such as smoothies and juices. And I can tell you, I've said this before, but for those of you just tuning in, you want to keep stuff, you want to buy stuff that keeps very well. It keeps a long time in case you get busy and you forget. And such things that work for me are apples, oranges, which are very sweet and good for kids. You add this to their juices. Beets. I'll put about a quarter beet into a half gallon fresh veggie juice. Sometimes I'd go with maybe an 1/8 because it's a little strong. But I use celery and carrots. And all of these things are really cheap, except for the oranges. But they all keep very well. And if you forget, I mean, I've got stuff that's been about over a week and a half, and they still haven't gone bad. Bananas are really awesome for smoothies. If they do start to turn, or you do start to get busy, the best thing to do is peel them off before they start to turn brown, and put them in a baggie. Peel all the peels off, separate them, and just you might want to clump them in separate bags or Tupperwares, like the size of a fist, that you want to add to your smoothie. Don't worry if they get frozen solid; they will blend up. I use a Vitamix. But if you do one big giant mass, sometimes you got to strong arm it to break it apart. Otherwise, you have this big giant clump of bananas, depending on the situation you got. But what I love is frozen, like berries, frozen fruits. I do mangoes, strawberries, peaches, things of that nature. You can buy organic, flash frozen, so they're all loose. They make a good treat when your kids want a snack, especially in the summertime. They're frozen, like a frozen strawberry and a cherry. They can just sit there and suck on them. But these are good things when you have in conjunction with your plant-based smoothies. Now, this might sound weird to you guys, but I buy the Oregon. I'm not affiliated with anybody. This podcast, like I said, has nobody. But I use Oregon chocolate protein powder. It's all plant-based. I use some peanut powder, which is also organic, but then I also add like apples. I'll put in some bananas, and I'll put in some, another good thing to add to your food in the hustle is to organize your life, is to use such things as flaxseed, ground flaxseed, bran. So I'll add all these things to it, the frozen berries, and it makes a wonderful smoothie. Tastes really good. It seems, as far as the sugar goes, it seems like the Oregon, yeah, I think it's Oregon, it's got stevia and other stuff. It doesn't really have sugar, but it has a really good sweet flavor to it. So those are just some things, guys, that to organize your shit, to get your life together How I do with food. I mean, food is a big one, I think. I always get home and I'm like, God damn it, what am I gonna cook? And then you got stuff going bad, it's rotting, and you're like, damn it, you know what, I'm a loser. I say it every day. But these are things that you need to get in your life. You need to get it organized. You really should consider running your life like a business. And I think that's probably the first key. And I've said this a lot before in the other podcasts, is that if you don't think you are a business, you got something else coming. You have a social security number attached to you. They take taxes from you. They tax the shit out of you. And then you take that money that you made and you're buying and investing in things such as food and clothes and stuff. And if you buy cheap shit, you're throwing it away and you're buying it again. It doesn't seem like a very good business, does it? So the moment you start treating things like a business, it's the reverse. It doesn't become so much work anymore. And you have more time in your life and you have less frustrations. Unlike me right now, it's not that bad, but it's pretty bad. Like I said, I'll share some of this stuff on the Instagram. But yeah, you guys, if you want to organize your life, and if you're in a shitty situation or a dire situation like I am, and you need to get like a new business and you're working on stuff getting going, you need stuff streamlined. How else? I'd love to hear your opinions. How else are you going to streamline your life without running it like a business and simplifying, getting rid of things and organizing pretty much everything in your life? So with that, that's the show. I hope it helps you guys out. And you guys go check out the platforms. It's Up and In It. We're on Instagram. We're on TikTok. We're on Facebook. There's a private Facebook group. Ask to join. We approve everybody off the bat. There's YouTube and, of course, the podcast on Spotify and Apple iTunes. And as I always say, guys, go out there and have yourself a near-life experience. Don't lose your muchness. Carry on the fire. Human up. Live it. Love it. Own it. And bone it.